All right, you all, we're wrapping up the first hour of this week's Best Of with my friend Marcellus Wiley. I talked about it, got a little heated, but I mean, friends can do that. We had a very interesting conversation about Sha'Carri Richardson, which proves that so many things can be true about people, places, and things. With that being said, let's talk about obnoxious at one point. Sha'Carri Richardson to me felt that way, and I've watched her over the last year, just a couple of years, just put her head down and figure it out. When she missed her opportunity to go to the Olympics, I felt like she handled it wrong. I felt for her because I understood what she was going through when she found out she had lost her mother, and a reporter was the person to tell her that. It was just a tough thing, but you know, she was 19, and I felt like she was vilified, and I didn't think it was fair for how people treated her, but I was one of those people. I want to know your overall perspective on Sha'Carri and why you felt, or why she felt, she said the world, you know, turned on me. Did you agree with her when she said that?
I agree that they turned on her, and I think they turned on her is because they didn't want to go where she was going. They didn't want to see her waste her talent. They didn't want to see someone as great potential actually not realize that. I don't look at my athletes in terms of likability, because there's some athletes that I fully respect that I don't really like. Like Aaron Rodgers, I fully respect him and everything, but I don't really like Aaron Rodgers, but that's okay because it's not my place to like him. But I do respect how he gets down and does his work. With Sha'Carri, I think we lost a lot of respect of how she got to doing her work. We saw a lot of reasons, excuses, a little victimhood that came out of her at a critical time when everyone was jumping on her wagon. And it just felt so, I think it felt without a projection, without a foresight to see where this woman was going with her career. So a lot of people abandoned her. But she made the choice easy for everyone to abandon her. When I look at Sha'Carri now, I think it's an amazing lesson for all to learn. She had an attitude problem. And it's weird you can't say that about people, but we can dissect any athlete physically. And then we can say that the person doesn't have courage. We can say that the person's scared. We can say the person's not ready for the moment. But when you say attitude problem, especially when you're talking about a black woman, it becomes something that is a little more of a fire starter. But I'm not here for that. I'm here to say that when she fixed her attitude, the way she thought about herself, the way she thought about track, the way she thought about life, she fixed her behavior, which allowed all of her potential to shine again. It's that simple. But we live in a world where we don't want to have those critical assessments. And we knew what was the problem. We were like, Sha'Carri, as much as we know it's painful, I lost my mother as well, that you lost your mother. There were also reports beforehand that you were smoking marijuana. So let's not use that as the only reason you were smoking marijuana. Let's not call out the Jamaican track team. Let's not shun the media because they're asking you mundane, routine questions that they should ask anybody who's not performing at their best, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We love Sha'Carri because she was fast. And then we fell in love with other things because she was fast. But when you're not as fast, we don't love you the same. It's just that simple. So I think a lot was made of nothing other than someone not doing their job to the best of their ability and then want to claim that we don't like them. When we only liked you because you were fast in the first place. So that's how
she did have an attitude problem.
Yeah,
and as a black woman, we're often told we do have an attitude problem. And whether it's fair or not fair, I don't know. I don't know. I am highly super sensitive to that. And you and I have worked together, and you know I have attitude problems sometimes. But I'm super sensitive to it because the way we show up in the world, it's very complicated. Very few advocates when we get to the top. And that's no excuse, but sometimes you don't have the skill set to adjust and understand why you are feeling a way or received or treated a certain way. You don't know until you know. And so that was my thing with Sha'Carri. She had to look at herself and realize what she had to be, which was a person with a better attitude, hold yourself accountable, do your damn job, and let's just win. That's what we're here for. Serena Williams was always great. And they always they hated her attitude. She was always great. She's never not been great. So your argument that
Yeah.
Sha'Carri Richardson had to be fast and that's why we like her again, yes, that's true. But look how you treat Serena. Maria Sharapova didn't have a great attitude. At one
No.
point in Serena's career, she was second in endorsements to Maria Sharapova while still having more Grand Slams than she had because people didn't like her attitude. Is that fair?
It is fair in the sense of fair is where pigs go to get ribbons.
I knew you were going to say. I knew you were going to say. I knew you were going to say that.
I wish life was fair, but it's not. I'm born and turned into a
You're
6'4",
right.
280-pound male. And, I also had uncles that were 5'10" and super talented, but hey, man, good luck with 5'10" in this world in terms of athletics. So it's never been fair.
You're right.
But let's talk about, is it uniform? In track and field, if you get second place, people forget about you. If you're not on the medal stand, nobody knows your name. FloJo used to be a third, fourth place runner for the most of her career. There are some rumors that may be real of what she did to change her career trajectory. But all of a sudden, not only was she first place, but she was a world record holder. She became someone who was anonymous to the casual fan, to FloJo, a household name 30, 40 years later. So track and field is a whole different animal. I ran track and field growing up. I was a national champion. And when you're not a national champion or top guy, no one knows your name. It's time to move on. So Sha'Carri fell victim to this. Once she's in a sport that's so cutthroat that no one cares in general about track in America, let alone if you all of a sudden were the top and then now you're getting last place in races we're watching. People just don't have any kind of respect for that. You don't get the benefit of the doubt. What Sha'Carri did was simple. She got caught up. A lot of things came at her fast, some bad things as well. And being 19 is no excuse. I'm going to tell you why. You and I both have been 19. No, being 19 is not an excuse. She's not the first 19-year-old star. So, look, if you want to act that way to the media, you want to act that way to your opponents, you want to act that way to the world, you can't fall back on 19 because you ain't the only one at 19. So, I've seen too many guys who've had tremendous careers, women and men, young. And you didn't hear about Simone Biles at 19 doing all this bad stuff. And she won every single gymnastics event she was in. So the point is, we just don't want to hold our stars as accountable. But when we do, we realize they are human beings who are just amazing at athletics. It's a real simple science. I apply what I think about myself and my surroundings to the athletes as well. But I won't give her any kind of leeway and say because she was young, because I've seen other guys who were young and you know the names and people who were sensational as phenoms and they didn't have these same issues. She had a deeper issue.
But the reality is, I am talking about how we treat our superstars and how, and I hate to even bring gender into this, but how sometimes it's much more easier to assign titles and criticism to some of our female athletes. I can say it's like Simone Biles decides to take a mental break because she was having the twisties. We were mad at her. How dare? Naomi Osaka says,
two things.
Go ahead. Go.
Yeah,
you got
things. One, track is my heart. So there's an Allison Felix that ran track, phenom from high school. She started ninth grade.
I'm familiar.
Phenom from day one. Never heard a bad thing about Allison Felix ever. We can't. It's not because she's a woman that we all of a sudden criticizing Sha'Carri. It's not because she run track. It's the way you were doing it. It's just that simple. And attitude is altitude in this world. And I try to tell this to all the kids,
altitude.
Yes, you don't go as high as that attitude because when you get up there, all of a sudden it's about how you believe, how you think, how you treat others. And that's going to be exuded through your behavior. So I'm not going to give her a pass because I've seen people faster than her, more accomplished than her, younger than her, that handled it better than her. So it's okay. We'll put that one to the side. And her being a black woman, let's just get into the deep part.
Let's get uncomfortable.
Her problem was not because she was black and had a bad attitude, because they gave her all that she tricked off, all that she gave up. was afforded to her as a black woman. So you can't use the black woman I fall down card when somebody else gonna say, well, we gave you the black woman prop you up card. Sha'Carri was
black
a
girl
household
magic.
name going into LSU. I knew of I was like, oh, she going to LSU. Oh, she out of LSU. She pro already. And she got all of that as a black woman. Do not try to now 180
You're right.
me. And
No,
say
you're
because
right.
she's black,
You're right.
People try to bring that fire to you. Don't do that now, Sha'Carri. Right,
Marcellus Wiley, thank you for being your honest self and so cheery. God, just a great demeanor. You have a great attitude. That's why the altitude for you is always upward. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you. I'll see you tonight, Mama. Take care, Gary.
See you tonight.